Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing fantastic. Let's continue our reading of these wonderful hadiths. Tirmidhi, let's begin. Alright, chapter 29. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Listen to these while you're washing your dishes, doing what you gotta do. What has been related that the ears are part of the head. Abu Umama, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated, the Prophet, peace be upon him, performed wudu. So he washed his face 3 times, and his hands 3 times, and wiped his head, and he said, the ears are part of the head. Hasan. Okay, so that's an interesting distinction there. We'll put that there. Abu Isa said, Qutayba, the one At-Tirmidhi is narrating from, said, Hamad, one of the narrators, said, I do not know if this was a saying of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or from the saying of Abu Umama. Okay. Saying of Abu Umama or the Prophet. Okay, there's some distinction there. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Anas. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan. Its chain is not that strong. Most of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and those after them act according to this, that the 2 ears are part of the head. This is the saying of Sufyan, Ath-Thawri, Ibn al-Mubarak, Ash-Shafi, Ahmad, and Ishaq. Some of the people of knowledge say that what is the front of 2 ears is part of the face, and what is behind them is part of the head. That's interesting. Part of the head or part of the face? I wouldn't even have thought of that, but it makes sense. Really makes sense. Ishaq said, it is preferred that one wipe the front of them along with his face, and the rear of them along with his head. Ash-Shafi'i said, they are sunnah either way, they are to be wiped with new water. Okay, perfect. So, sunnah either way. There we go. Comments. The annotator of Zad al-Ma'ad quoted that most people of knowledge, like Sa'id bin al-Musayyab, Ata, Hassan, Ibn Sirin, Sa'id bin Jubair, Nahi, Thawri, Ibn al-Mubarak, Malik, the followers of analogy, Ahmad, and Ishaq, had this very opinion, that taking fresh water for the wiping of the ears is not necessary. The ears will be wiped along with the head. Footnote of Zad al-Ma'ad, volume 1, page 188. And this is the preferred view. Okay. So, you can, if you want to use new water, I think, well, you can, right? But I guess the point comes, this is not mandatory or something like that, I guess. Maybe. Very interesting. Chapter 30, what has been related about going between the fingers. Asim bin Lakit bin Sabira narrated from his father that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, when performing wudu, go between the fingers. Sahih. Okay. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Ibn Abbas, al-Mustawrid, and he is Ibn Shaddad al-Fihiri, and Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. The people of knowledge act according to this, that the one is to go between the toes in wudu, and this is the view of Ahmad and Ishaq. Ishaq said, one goes between the fingers of his hands and the toes of his feet in wudu. Okay. So between toes, between fingers. Perfect. Abu Hashim's, one of the narrators' name is Ishmael bin Kathir al-Maki. Oh, okay. I like when they give us the multiple names of the people. Very insightful. Ibn Abbas narrated that Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, when performing wudu, go between the fingers of your hands and toes of your feet. Hasan. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Garib. Al-Mustarid bin Shaddad al-Fihiri said, I saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he was performing wudu, doing that to the toes on his feet with his pinky. Hasan. Abu Isa said, "This hadith is Hasan Garib. We do not know of it except from the hadith of Ibn Lahiya." Comments. According to Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Ahmad, running the fingers through the fingers is sunnah and running through the toes is stressed upon. As for Imam Malik and Imam Shafi, it is desirable. Okay, nice. Nice. We are learning. Chapter 31. What has been related about protect the heels from the fire. Abu Hurairah narrated that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Protect the heels from the fire." So, I remember that one, because if you didn't wash your feet effectively, if your ankles were still dry, that was what he said to somebody who didn't do their wudu properly on their feet. I remember. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Abdullah bin Amr, Aisha, Jabir bin Abdullah, Abdullah bin al-Harith, and he is Ibn Jaz, Az-Zubayri, Muwakib, Khalid bin al-Walid, Shurhabil bin Hassan, Amir bin al-As, and Zayd bin Abi Sufyan. Abu Isa said, this hadith of Abu Hurairah is a Hasan Sahih hadith. It has been reported from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that he said, protect the heels and the bottoms of the feet from the fire. He said, the understanding of this hadith is that it is not allowed to merely wipe over the feet when one does not have kuf or socks on them. Okay. Comments. This hadith proves that washing the heels and ablution should be cared for greatly, lest they should remain dry. Otherwise, it is such a severe mistake that the heels will have to face the punishment for remaining dry. If the heels are subject to chastisement for remaining dry, then it means the feet should be washed very carefully. Were the feet to be just wiped, then the heels would have this severe warning. Okay. Very distinct nuances here. I think if you were going to build a home as a Muslim, it would be very cool if you put a foot washing station in your bathroom. That would be a very good idea. And then market the house as like Islamic friendly. I don't know. There should be some, I don't know if it already exists, but Islamic architecture on the bathroom could be a whole, somebody could have a business of just installing that type of sink functionality in people's homes, right? I don't think you could do it in apartments because you'd have to get, the property manager is probably not going to let you do anything reconstructive. But if you have a home, might as well try it if you can do it, right? Chapter 32, what has been related about wudu one time for each limb. Ibn Abbas narrated, the Prophet, peace be upon him, performed wudu one time for each limb. Sahih. Abu Isa said, there are narrations on this topic from Umar, Jabir, Buraida, Abu Rafi, and Ibn Faqih. Abu Isa said, the hadith of Ibn Abbas is the best thing on this topic and the most correct. Rashid bin Saad and others reported this hadith from Ad-Dahak bin Shurabil, from Zayd bin Aslam, from his father, from Umar bin al-Khattab, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, performed wudu one time for each limb. Umar bin al-Khattab. He said, this is nothing. What is Sahih is what is reported from Ibn Ajlan, Hisham bin Sa'ad, Sufyan al-Thawri, and Abdul Aziz bin Muhammad, from Zayd bin Aslam, from Atta bin Yasar, from Ibn Abbas, from the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's nice when I start recognizing the names of the narrators. Yes. Comments. This hadith shows the proof that the obligation of ablution will be performed by washing the parts of ablution perfectly just once, because the real purpose is to wash the limbs thoroughly. Likewise, as coming in the following chapters, washing the body parts for ablution 2 times or 3 times is also correct, and washing some 2 times and some 3 times is correct too. But washing 3 times was his, peace be upon him, usual routine. Therefore, washing each part 3 times is better and more virtuous. Okay, because I do the 3 times. Yeah, I do the 3 times. Chapter 33. What has been reported about wudu 2 times for each limb. Abu Hurairah narrated, The Prophet, peace be upon him, performed wudu 2 times for each limb. Hasan. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Garib. We do not know of it except from the hadith of Ibn Thawban, from Abdullah bin al-Fadl, and this is a Hasan Sahih chain. There is something on this topic reported from Jabir. Abu Isa said, Hammam reported from Amir al-Ahwal, from Atta, from Abu Huraira, the Prophet, peace be upon him, performed wudu 3 times for each limb. Okay, so look at that. We got a 2-timer, we have and a 3-timer. So what I learned so far is that it shows the permissibility of it so that you would know what's preferred, what's obligatory. You should always try to do it towards the sunnah path. But I think if it's like accidental, you did only 2, or you didn't realize, then you do have some type of leeway, right? So it'll still be valid even if you only did 2 times, but you should do the preferred time. So it doesn't invalidate it just because you did it twice. You see what I'm saying? That is what I've learned thus far. Perfect. Perfect purification.